Hello Stampers, my name is Linda Bedinger and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Denver, Colorado, and this is my buddy Puccini, who keeps me company in the craft room and helps with some projects. There are many projects that have corners that have been eaten by Puccini, who's been helping. Well, I have another in my series of masculine cards, and this is a blast from the past because this is going back to a stamp set that we had that was called Country Road. I wish they put the years that these were available, but they don't, and it's a classic and makes great masculine cards. So without further ado, let's just get started. Okay, here is my card, and this one just says happy birthday, and we can have it say anything, congratulations, hope you feel better soon, anything. And this is the inside. Now this is the stamp set. It's actually an older one, like I talked about before, and it's got its own happy birthday, and it says nothing's better than the wind at your back, the sun in your face, and your family by your side. It's just a wonderful card, thinking of you, and this would make a lovely sympathy card for a guy as well. And so I've used this, and you can see I've used this stamp, I used a happy birthday. It might have been the one from that one, I'm not positive. That looks a little bit different. And then on the inside, I used another of these stamps and then the wagon wheel. And any combination of that will work. And in order to make this card, what I have is a piece of pecan pie, and then this one, which is that basic beige color. And the only thing I'm going to do different on this one is I'm going to run this through an embossing folder, and I was thinking I would use the So Swirly once we got everything put on here. And this is a tag because I misstamped the original stamp on here. So it's actually very simple. So let me get a little piece of scratch paper here, and I'm going to stamp this one first, and I did that in Old Olive. So I'm going to take my Old Olive stamp here and ink this up and set it right down here in this corner. And so you need 2 of these. Darn it, didn't get it inked up enough. So we'll do it on the other side here. Looks like this pad needs to be re-inked. Okay, so we're going to try that again right down here in this corner. And this one didn't quite fit on this block. Should have used a little bit bigger block. But I'm going to let this sit here and let as much of that ink sink through as I possibly can. And there we go. That's a little bit better. Now I'm going to go ahead and stamp my weather vane here. And for that, I'm using my early Espresso and this beautiful stamp. It doesn't necessarily have to be for a guy, but it works pretty well that way, I think. So I'm going to get this nice and inked up. That looks good. And get this put right down here so that it runs off the bottom of the page. And I'm going to set the horse just slightly askew. And get that one stamped on here. And there we go. Now, it's a stamp that has a lot of solid pieces, and it's not meant to be completely covered, but I'm going to use a blender pen to get a little more definition here on parts of it. And I can leave the parts, because it is a weather vane and it should be somewhat aged and not perfect. But I also want it to look good on the card. So I'm going to set just a few of these pieces here with a little bit of this blender pen, which is magic, by the way, for this kind of stuff, and to get a little bit more definition on a few of these pieces here on the card. And there we go. All right, now I have to put my happy birthday, and see if I can't get that stamped up here. And there's my happy birthday. And again, I'm going to get that inked up really well. And I'm just going to go ahead and put it right up here on the card. All right. Then for the inside, you need two of these panels that are 4 by 5 1/4. And I'm probably going to, let's see, I'm going to take this blender pen and put it in the green and just give this a little grounding on this plant, which I didn't do on the other one, but now that I think about it, I think I will do that, and I think it looks a little bit better. Okay, all right. Blender pens last forever. These that I'm using are at least 2 years old. And they work too. See, I didn't get a perfect stamp on some of these leaves. So I'm going to fill in a little. I've got a little too much brown on that. See if I can fill in a little bit of this. Well, and I did it again. Let me try doing this in green. Yeah, there we go. Just to touch it up a little bit. Get some so that it's definitely green. And now that I've made those heavy marks on this plant, I need to make a few heavy ones on a couple of these others so it doesn't look funny. But there we go. All right. Wonderful. And all you want is just the hint of a leaf. Okay. Now I'm going to stamp on for my inside piece, and for that I used my brown and I put part of this wagon wheel over on this side. There we go. And again, I'll need to use my blender pen. I've got to go remember to ink this up when I'm done, because they both need a little bit of extra ink. And it doesn't matter that this is a little off, because it's not supposed to be perfect anyway. And so adding a little bit to this doesn't hurt. And if you go a little wide, it's no problem, because you can make that wagon wheel boy just about any size you wanted to. And there we go. Okay. Now the other stamp that I used, and I did this on the inside, and I just stamped "It's Your Day." And so I thought I would put that one right up here in the corner. And "It's Your Day." And that is the inside of our card. So now what I'm going to do is go off camera and run this front panel through the embossing folder, because I think it'll be a little bit more interesting if that embossing is done on this front panel. So here's my front panel, and I'll be back in a flash. And there we have our panel embossed, and I do think that's going to make a difference. Okay, so now we just need to put this card together. It's such a simple little card and so easy. I'm going to try and get this as evenly as I can. And there we go. Now I still have to put on my flowers, and what I've got is 2 markers. I've got Pumpkin Pie and Poppy Parade, and who knows, I should have done this before I did the embossing, but I think it'll work. And so what I'm going to do is just put some of this pumpkin pie on these stems as though they were a little kind of prairie flower, not unlike what you see out on the plains here in Colorado. Our Botanic Gardens has a whole display of native grasses and native plants that grow wild in Colorado, and it's just beautiful. And so I'm going to add this piece to here, and let's see, I'm going to add some of the Poppy Parade. Just the orange would be pretty, but I think there's just something extra special when you put this dash of the Poppy Parade in here. It just perks it up pretty amazingly. And there we go. Just that little pop of color makes such a difference, and our card isn't so plain. And you can see it's just a dash here and a dash there, nothing much. Very nice. And then on the inside of this, I think I did stamp a little bit of this, so maybe I'll go ahead and do that as well while I'm at it, and do that in my old, okay, re-ink this a little bit, and let's see what we get now. And on this one, since I don't want anything but these tall pieces to show, I'm going to put this down here and just put a little sprig of this stuff right in there. Much better. What a little re-inking will do. It's just amazing. Okay, now I've got my blender pen, since a little bit of that peeked up here in the corner. I'm going to add just a little piece here so it doesn't look quite so lonely. I'm going to add my colors here. I really like this touch because it just brightens up this card pretty amazingly. Now I think I'm ready to put this card together finally. And I'm going to be using liquid glue on the back of this one, only because that I want to make sure I get some glue in the nooks and crannies here. I love the fine point on this Barely Art glue. I really like the bead that it lays down. Pretty cool. Okay. Now I'm going to put this on our card front. Maybe right side up would be good. And lay this one down, and the liquid glue allows me to wiggle that around just a hair so that it's nice and straight on the front of this card. Great. Just like that. All right. Now, I think I can use my tape runner on this back one. And get that put on the inside. Isn't that a pretty little card? Oh, here comes a visitor. Buccini. Right in the middle of where we don't need you. But there is the inside in here now. Plenty of room to write your message. And we've got a little bit of the outside on the inside. And there we have it. Now that doesn't need anything more. But if you had some, like these, I wish we still had these around. I just have used them and used them and used them. And I think on this one, a little bit of that copper would look really nice. So I'm going to add, let's see if you can still see everything, mostly. Oh, Puccini, I need you not to be here. Let's see if I can coax him into his little box here on my desk. Now I have a few of these little embellishments, and again, I thought the copper with that, the color on the base of this would look kind of nice. And so I'm gonna just put a few of these around, scatter them, just in a couple spots, maybe just 3. There is our finished card. Thank you so much for stopping by my YouTube channel today. I do so appreciate it. And if you don't already have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, well, I'd love to be your demonstrator. And let me see if I just give this a little burnish across the top here so it'll stay nice and closed. There we go. All right, so that is my project for the day. Again, thank you for stopping by, and I will be back soon with more cards, more projects, and more tips. Bye.